Hello, welcome back, boys and girls. Today's story is called Finnigans Leprechaun Luck, written by Janelle Thompson, illustrated by Leslie Francom. Now, in this book, Finnigan McFay finds a leprechaun, and then he discovers something magical. What did he discover? Let's see what happens. Let's get started. In all of Ireland, there was no one luckier at finding things than Finnigan McFay. He helped Mr. McGinnis find the ring that he had lost in his pretty field, and he helped old Mrs. Flannery find the lost glasses. He even found Mrs. Murphy's sewing needle that she had dropped in a pile of hay. But Finnegan soon grew bored of finding such ordinary things. I want to find something special, Finnegan thought one evening. Something challenging. Something that no one else has found before. I want to find a leprechaun. So he set out early the next morning to search for leprechauns in the rocky hills just north of his home. And he climbed rock after rock and searched hill after hill until finally he could search no more. Now the bright sunny sky he had enjoyed earlier that morning had turned to a dark and cloudy afternoon, and the sound of thunder rumbled through the hills. Dear me, Finnegan exclaimed. I've lost track of time. I'd best be getting home now before the storm hits. But then a giant raindrop fell from the sky and landed kaplop on his shoulder, followed by another and another and yet another. There was no way he'd make it home in time now. So Finnegan ran inside the nearby cave for shelter, just as the rain began to pour heavily down. Oh, made it just in time, Finnegan announced to himself. It's really bucketing down now. And as he stood watching the rain fall, Finnegan noticed a slight movement off in the distance, and he narrowed his eyes to make out the object in the rain and was surprised to see the shape of a woman dressed in green approaching closer to the cave. Saints alive! Finnegan whispered aloud. I do believe it's a leprechaun. I'd better hide so as not to scare him off. And Finnegan ran to the back of the cave and crouched down behind the boulder in wait of the leprechaun. A tiny pair of feet could be heard scuffling into the cave. And then all went silent for a time. So Finnegan carefully peered around the boulder to catch a glimpse of the strange new arrival, but was startled to find a small wet face staring back at him. What do you think you're doing, hiding there, behind that rock? The soggy little man demanded. His hands were placed on his hips, and his bushy, orange eyebrows were furrowed deep. Out with you now! Out! Out! Now Finnegan did as he was told and stood in awe of the leprechaun standing before him. Glory be! Finnegan muttered at last. I really did it! I've actually found me a leprechaun! And now that I've found you, I'd best be using me wishes for your pot of gold. Wishes? Ha! The leprechaun scoffed. I don't have to grant you anything. You didn't find me. I found you. I'm the best finder of all. Now Finnegan was stunned. Surely, this was just one of the leprechaun's tricks. You little rascal! You found me after I found you! That makes me the best finder of all! Finnegan argued. Fiddlesticks! The clever leprechaun replied. The best find of all wouldn't need to wish for a pot of gold. He'd find it. But this is a sporting man I am, so I'll tell you what. I'll let you try your hand at finding me gold instead. That would certainly improve your ability. But it could be anywhere, Finnegan said. And how will I know that you won't move the gold if I be close to finding it? Simple, the leprechaun replied. I'll conjure up a rainbow and I'll keep me gold at the end of it. That way, you always be able to see where it's at. And I'll remain at the cave. But after 8 minutes, then the rainbow will fade. And with it, the pot of gold will fade also. So, what's it to be? Would you like to try your luck at finding it? A rainbow to point the way? Finnegan paused to think. Now the little man had promised not to interfere, and with his luck at finding things, what did he have to lose? You are sure you'll stay here and that you won't move the gold? He cautiously questioned. As sure as a shamrock grows 3 leaves, the leprechaun replied. And by now, the rain had slowed to a stop, and Finnegan smiled at the little man's promise. This is a deal. You have then, Finnegan said. And with that, the leprechaun walked to the front of the cave and caught the droplets of water that were forming from the rocks overhead. And then he tossed the droplets high up into the air, and the water's mist fell slowly down to the ground, just as the right ray of sunshine broke out from behind the clouds. And almost immediately, a magnificent rainbow began to take form, arching high up into the sky and landing just beyond the neighboring hills. And then, with a grand swoop of his hand, and a slight bow, the leprechaun said, "Farewell, milady. Good luck, I leave you." So, Finnegan wasted no time getting started. He gave the wee man a nod and then set off to find his fortune. And he knew that he'd have to hurry if he wanted to find the pot of gold in time. And he ran down one hill and hiked up over the next to where he thought the rainbow had ended. But when he got there, he was surprised to find that the rainbow was further still. "I could have sworn that this was where the rainbow ended," Finnegan mused. "But now I see that I was mistaken, for the end is not here, but over by those boulders instead." So he quickened his pace, but found that the closer he got to the boulders, the further away the rainbow seemed to be. By now, the colors of the rainbow were beginning to fade quickly, and Finnegan knew that his time was running out. Again, he looked at the rainbow to try to pinpoint its location. But this time, as he did so, he could see the faint glimmer of something gold shining there at the rainbow's end. "I see it!" Finnegan cried out. "I see it! I have found it! I found the pot of gold! Now, if only I can reach it in time." And Finnegan ran towards the gold as fast as his legs could carry him. But by the time he was within an arm's reach of it, the rainbow had faded completely away, and nothing but a small four-leaf clover remained, marking the exact place where the pot of gold had been. It was then that Finnegan realized that he had been outwitted, for true to his word, it's not the gold that the leprechaun had moved, but the end of the rainbow instead. And although he had been tricked out of finding the pot of gold, Finnegan knew that the leprechaun had indeed left him a bit of gold luck. The end. What a smart leprechaun. What a wonderful, wonderful story. Thank you for joining us for this wonderful story time, boys and girls. We thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you soon.